Hey folks, David Stewart here. Let's talk about something fun today, specifically the Elder Scrolls Online, and even more specifically, the Dark Brotherhood DLC. I know this came out last month, so I'm a little bit late to the party, but I've had fun playing it the last week, so I wanted to give you some information and give you my perspective on it, and kind of wrap that one up in a nice little bow. Incidentally, I also have World of Warcraft Legion beta access, so we'll be trying to give you some information on that, give you some good consumer information to help you decide if you're going to get into that WoW expansion, or if you're going to skip it, or if you do play it, what capacity you're going to play it in, and what aspects of it you're really interested in playing. So I'll be trying to give you all the relevant information for that in the future as well. Let's take a look at the Dark Brotherhood DLC. Like I said, I've had fun playing it. Here's what it is. It's a zone. So it unlocks a zone. It is 2,000 crowns on the store, by the way, or you can have the ESO. If you have the ESO membership, if you have the subscription plan, it is basically included with that, so you have access to it. It includes this entire zone, which includes 2 cities, Anvil and Kvatch. They're both nice looking and rather robust. With full services and everything that you need to know there. There are quests in both cities that are independent of the Dark Brotherhood quest chain that you can do. So if you don't want to be a part of the Dark Brotherhood and you have an ESO membership, you can still come out and do some extra quests there. The entire zone is leveled to you, or you are leveled to the zone, rather. So you're leveled to the level of the zone. They level you up, but whatever gear you get is whatever level you are. So when you leave that area, you have usable gear that is the appropriate level for you. So if you're high level, you get the high level gear. If you're low level, you get the low level gear. But the content will be roughly the same difficulty, whatever level you choose to come out here with. There are sky shards in the zone as well, so you can get some sky shards and get a couple extra skills, which is cool. And let me think what else. The Dark Brotherhood is the main focus of it, but there's also some other ways to get gear. I mentioned the quests in both areas. There's also another thing here, the Kvatch Arena, that you can do once a day, I believe, and you'll probably need a group to do it because the monsters are there's quite a few of them that end up in the arena, but it's easy to find a group. Everyone's doing it all the time. And you do that once a day and you get a piece of tanking gear. There's 2 sets of gear that you get here. One is the Marhas set, and I have 2 of those. That's the tanking set. And hopefully you can see some of those, some of the set bonuses, which are mostly physical resistance and stamina and health and physical damage when you roll through enemies. It's pretty cool. The Synthesis set, that's the set that you get through the Dark Brotherhood quests. It's also quite nice. It gives you, health, and it also gives you weapon crit and spell crit, which is cool. And then some extra bonuses for a special skill that you get through this expansion. Outside, the Highlands here look quite nice. They are reminiscent of Oblivion in a good way, and you will also hear touches of the music from Oblivion, which I think is a great little little detail for this particular area. And we haven't seen this area since Oblivion, so it's pretty cool to come back here. Let me take you over to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. You will trigger the Dark Brotherhood quest by killing an innocent in Anvil, or you can talk to somebody who will tell you to kill an innocent in Anvil. Then the Dark Brotherhood will contact you, and away you go. It's not quite as organic as it was in Oblivion. Oblivion to me is kind of like the gold standard of Dark Brotherhood quests, but it's still pretty, feels all right, I guess. You have to make it pretty obvious for like this sort of game setup. But anyway, you kill an innocent, you get started. The first thing that you get when you join the Dark Brotherhood is a skill. You unlock the skill tree, and let me show you the skill tree. And at the top of the skill tree is this thing, Blade of Woe. Very, very cool skill, very, very cool spell that they added. This isn't something that you have to put on your bars. What it is when you are hidden and behind your target, and if you're fully hidden and behind your target, you can press X and it will insta-kill that target. As long as that target's not an elite or another player, it'll insta-kill that target, which is really cool, and makes the assassination quest that you get in the Dark Brotherhood DLC quite a bit easier, and also gives a new challenge to other things as well. So I'm a big fan of the Blade of Woe, and there's a lot of skills that kind of play off the Blade of Woe and You know, you get some berserking bonuses after you kill someone with Blade of Woe, and it's useful in just regular PvE content. You can go up and kill a target and have one immediately dead before you start having to fight the second target, so that's helpful as well. Once you join the Dark Brotherhood, there are 3 quest types that you do. 2 Radiant repeatable kind of quests, and then the main storyline quest. The storyline quest is actually unlocked by progressively building up your reputation with the Dark Brotherhood. So you have to build up your reputation by doing the other 2 types of quests, and then you'll be unlocking the story mode. And I know that that's sort of content gating, that's sort of throttling the content, but I actually like it. I think it feels good because I like the feeling of having to develop a relationship with this guild as far as RP and just the experience goes. Rather than just blasting through the story in a day, you have to really, slowly invest in what you're doing with the Dark Brotherhood and get them to trust you before they obviously end up giving you harder, more difficult, and more important tasks. The other 2 quest types that you'll do are repeatable and radiant to a certain extent. The first one's in this room, this wonderful, beautiful library, and it's from this book right here, Marked for Death, this beautiful H.R. Geiger-looking gilded skull thing, which I wish I had one of these on my bookshelf. I don't know what I'd write in it. Probably love poems. But anyway, you open it up and it'll give you a quest. I already have a quest, so this one doesn't have a quest for me right now. To kill a very particular target somewhere out in the world. So you gotta go track them down, figure out where they're at, and then sneak on and kill them. And keep in mind, while I say that, you will get bounties for killing people if there are witnesses. And there's bonuses in here that will reduce the chance of a witness noticing you when you kill someone. But you will get bounties, and they can be substantial. You do get some items that will help you clear a bounty if you absolutely need to. But it's not one of these things where you can just get out of jail free by killing people. It's like, nope, it is difficult. The second type of sort of repeatable quest you get for the Dark Brotherhood is over here from the Speaker Tyrannus, who's sort of the leader of this cabal, I suppose. And if you talk to him, he will give you a quest for a solo dungeon instance, a solo instance where you have to kill a specific target, and usually there's a secondary target that's you have to kill someone else and maybe like burn a book or something. And then he'll give you a set of challenges to do while you're doing that instance. And usually those challenges are don't get caught. So don't have anybody notice you. Stealth your way through the entire instance, which is actually surprisingly challenging, especially the first couple times I tried it. I failed miserably, and I ended up with like 2,000 gold bounties as I killed every living thing trying to get out. So it actually is somewhat challenging. And it's also challenging because, unlike the single-player game, you can't just like reload a save and try again to do it better. You have to actually do it right the first time, which is difficult. So it's that. Don't get noticed. Kill your target with the Blade of Woe, which is preferable because you one-shot them, and then also get out after you kill them within 2 minutes. Those are usually the challenges. And if you do all 3 of those, you get rewarded with a random piece of blue gear. If you don't do all the challenges, but you still kill the target, you get 1 piece of green gear. Those are both random. They come in a little cask. You open them up, you get the random piece of gear. And the gear, as near as I can tell, is truly random. I have gotten the Resto Staff like 3 times out of the cask, and I have no Resto Staff skill whatsoever. So it's not based on your current skills. You can get armor that's medium armor, heavy armor, light armor. It's just random what you're going to get. And you can also get, epics through the story chain, I believe. I don't know if this is like a random chance to get an epic, but I got an epic from, I think, one of the storyline quests. So there's 2 sets of gear. The Sithis' gear, you're going to get a random one every day if you do that little solo instance, and then the Morehouse gear, you're going to get a random piece of that. Same thing, you open up the cask, get a random piece. But that, as far as I can tell, is always going to be heavy armor, and for a tanking set, that's probably preferable. So that's what you do for that. As you do those Radiant quests, you build up your reputation, then unlock more of the story. So the story's a little bit more spread out than what you might do, I guess, in like a single player kind of game. But I like it. It makes the faction feel more interactive to me. Here's the inside of our sanctuary. if you'll notice, it does have the aesthetic of Skyrim. The costumes have the Skyrim aesthetic. If I put on my helm here, the red and black from Skyrim. I actually prefer the just all black from the previous Elder Scrolls games. That's what I like. It's more stealthy and ninja-like to me. That's just my preference, but the red and black looks okay. If you're super high level and you already have really good armor, like the Cowhead, which I just think is awesome, but you still want to look like a sneaky assassin, what comes with the DLC is a costume that lets you wear the assassin's armor no matter what kind of gear you have. So that's cool, but I kind of prefer my own gear. I think that looks cool. I like looking like a cow right now. I am more than happy with it. Let me think if there's anything else. So let's talk about some things that could be improved with this DLC. The first one is those repeatable instances. There's only like 3 of them, I think. There might be 4, but I've only seen 3. And sometimes you do like 2 in a row, and it's kind of paint by numbers once you have them figured out. They're very challenging sort of at the start, but once you get really good at them, then you're kind of like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. I already know where this secret passage is. I already know how this warden moves around. There's like wardens with lights that if you step in the light, you get caught, and then you fail the whole not being caught part of the mission. But you'll learn kind of how they move and where the hiding places are. So once you know those instances, they're not nearly as challenging as the first couple times you do them. So I think the game would be better served by having just a lot more of those instances. I don't think it would be that difficult to add more, but I'm not the developer of this game, so I don't know that for sure. The other thing, this is kind of just like I guess an MMO fantasy for me, is I think it would be really cool to have player targets as part of these assassination raiding quests. So I think it'd be cool if you could hire this NPC faction, Dark Brotherhood, to kill another player you don't like. This is just a fantasy of mine, I guess. And then so you can pick up a player contract, and you'll get like a ton of gold for going and killing that player, which is very, very challenging and will probably get you a huge bounty. But then you go kill him, and maybe that person can't log in for a day because somebody put a contract out on him. That to me would be hilarious and awesome. Other people may not like that, but that's kind of part of my MMO fantasy. I think that'd be great. Here's Anvil. Here's one of the cities. There's the famous lighthouse. It looks quite a bit different from Oblivion. However, I think there's a lot in here that you will find very familiar, and I think it'll feel kind of like home. There is still like the mermaid fountain around the corner here somewhere, so you can go hang out at the mermaid fountain if you want to. Kvatch. I don't think we've ever seen an intact Kvatch. We've only seen like the wrecked Kvatch. So that city's pretty cool too. There's our famous mermaid fountain statue over there. So overall, I think that the content's pretty good. I find it aesthetically appealing. I find it immersive in terms of the way that the guild quests are sort of organized. There's a lot to do. If you have a membership, there's no reason to not just come out. There's also some daily quests you could pick up on, like boards from the various towns that will send you out in the wilderness to, go to a delve and kill some stuff. There's a lot of quests. There's quite a bit of content with it. Overall, I like it, and I do approve of it. And if you were looking for the Dark Brotherhood experience in your Elder Scrolls MMO, I think now you get it. I think now you'll finally have a little bit more of that experience. I also think it's a little more challenging, perhaps, than in the single-player game, in the sense that you can't reload. You have to deal with your bounties as they come. Oh, one last thing. Let me go back to this. There's also something really cool that they put in this game, put in this content, and I will show it to you. It is called The Litany of Blood, and it's this book you get in the Sanctuary, in your Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary, and in it is a bunch of people that you need to kill, but you don't know them by name. You have to figure out clues. Like from Skywatch, I offer she who reflects the heavens in her gaze and dress, drifting from dance to dance. You will know them by their eye. So each of these targets, they have like this white eye, and you have to murder them. And if you murder all the targets, I believe you get an achievement for it and a title, and I think also like a polymorph. And I know that the community basically figured all this out together in beta, but if you don't want their help, you could try to figure it out. I spent a bunch of time just figuring out one target. It was very difficult to find them. Even if you know their name, it'll be tough to find them in whatever city they're in. So it's quite a challenge, and I think it's very subtle and very cool. Kind of reminds me of the EverQuest days, where quests were very wide open and difficult to figure out, and you had to do the hard work of determining just what the NPC wanted and not having a quest log to help you keep track of it. So I think that's kind of cool. Just an extra little touch. Like I said, I do like it. That's my views on it. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see and what you want to hear. I will have WoW Legion beta access information coming shortly, hopefully on the channel once I have a chance to digest a little bit more than just sort of like the opening scenarios and stuff. But anyway, I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day. Oh, and don't forget my websites, my book, they're linked down below. If you want to support the channel, consider buying my book. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy it. See ya.